Well, it finally happened, folks. That's right, I got a bad deal on eBay. I've had a pretty good run here on the channel. I have made literally dozens of videos that center around going on eBay and trying to find a good or interesting deal on a MacBook. And I failed. This one sucks. I blew it. So today I'm gonna walk you guys through what I was trying to do when I accidentally bought this thing, and then we'll end up reviewing this turd. So let's do it. Today's video is sponsored by Rise, the desktop app that automatically tracks and categorizes the time you spend on websites and apps so you can be on top of your work habits and understand your time. Just set it up in a few minutes and start watching a breakdown of your screen time unfold in real time. Viewing this usage data in such detail really lets me analyze exactly how much time I'm spending video editing versus scripting, or in emails versus being distracted on Twitter, let's be honest. This shows me areas that I need to work on and helps me minimize distractions and plan breaks. It shows you exactly what websites or apps are distracting you and how often you're context switching. Rise is really the perfect tool for anyone who values efficiency in productivity. So to try Rise for free and maximize your productivity, the first 1,000 people to sign up using my code LukeMiani or the link in the description below will receive 25% off their first 3 months with Rise. So check that out today, and now let's get back to the video. So this, as you might be able to tell, is a butterfly keyboard Intel MacBook Air. It looks to be pretty normal. It seems like it's in decent condition. This particular one is from 2019, so it's not even really all that old. However, this is not what I thought I was buying when I paid 400 bucks for this thing. And it also has some problems. So I think I got a pretty bad deal, but let me explain why I tried to buy this thing. All right, so this is the listing that I purchased. Now, this all happened back over the summer. So I wasn't sure I was gonna make a video on this after my dismal failure, and this listing is no longer publicly up on eBay anymore, but basically what you're looking at here is a 13-inch MacBook Air 2019 with an I/O issue sold for parts. But the pictured item was an M1 MacBook Air. And that piqued my curiosity because this listing was sold by I Sell iMac Parts, and they sell a bunch of stuff that often does in fact get mislabeled. So this is their parts store. They have a ton of goodies here, from iPads and iPhones to big piles of MacBook Airs, Mac Minis, iMacs, everything Mac that you can imagine. There is something here. And over the past couple of years, I have gotten some really good deals here. This time I was not lucky, and I found that out in a very painful way, which was I got this thing, I unboxed it, I opened it up, and I went, oh no. Because I immediately saw the butterfly keyboard and I was like, oh crap, that's not good. This is a 2019 Intel MacBook Air. And a quick search through eBay listings indicates that I really didn't save any money over just buying one at retail, so it wasn't a particularly compelling deal. And then there's the matter of the aforementioned I/O issue. That's why this thing was sold on the parts store. And my assumption had been, based on the description, that one of the USB-C ports, this one in particular, was not functioning. Now, fortunately, this generation of MacBook does have modular USB ports. So while it's not good for repairability or upgradability in literally any other aspect, you can at least replace just the ports if they get fried, and you don't have to do the whole logic board. So I was like, awesome, we're in business here. I can salvage this video. We'll buy an I/O board. They're like 20 bucks. And I'll replace it and fix this MacBook up and we'll be good to go. And that did not happen because, well, I got really unlucky here. Not only was this not an M1 MacBook Air, which I thought it was, but the I/O board wasn't the problem. There's actually a short circuit on the logic board in the connector that the port board plugs into. So basically what happened was I opened it up, swapped the broken IO board for the new one, plugged it in, turned it on, and I started to smell a little bit of burning. Yeah, that's not what you want when you're doing a MacBook repair, just in case there's any confusion. Yeah, so basically what happens is you can swap this IO board as many times as you want, and it's just gonna fry the same port on the new board that you put in there. So I do still have one working USB-C port, which means everything else works. It charges, it runs, but that other USB port is dead. Well, I don't know board level repair, so unless I did, it's a board replacement, which basically mechanically totals this laptop. And it wasn't even that cheap. And so basically all I'm left with is a 2019 MacBook Air that I can't really sell because I would have to sell it with the caveat that you would basically have to get the board replaced in order for it to work. It only has one working USB-C port, and even if you set all of those things aside, it's a crappy laptop. I mean, my goodness, I never actually owned one of these when they were new. But now that I have owned one, and I've used it only very briefly, I can tell you that Apple Silicon really changed the game. Because this thing, there's no other way to say this. It's crippled by the fact that it just has the weakest processor and the worst cooling system known to man. Right now, I'm just sitting on the desktop, as I have been this whole entire video, and I'm somehow managing to use nearly 2 gigabytes of RAM. But if I just so much as open up Safari, look at the CPU usage. Oh my God, it went off the charts. Oh my goodness. If we go load up YouTube here, let's get that going. Whoa, CPU is climbing here. Let's go ahead and open up Intel Power Gadget and we can see how it's handling it. Oh no, 90 degrees Celsius. I have a single instance of Safari open, and if we just go ahead and click on a random video and let it start playing, look at the temperatures. Oh my God, it's pinned at 100. I'm watching a YouTube video. What? Look at this. Our core clocks are already going down to the baseline. We're almost thermal throttling watching a YouTube video. It's absolutely pinned at 100 degrees Celsius. Our core utilization is pretty much hovering around 40% with a single tab in Safari. That's terrible. When this generation of MacBook Air came out, quite frankly, we didn't all realize how much better things could be in just a year and a half. And so this computer was reviewed basically as like the pointless younger sibling to the MacBook Pro. Because when this came out back in 2019, you could choose between this for $1099 or a MacBook Pro with a quad-core chip for $1399. And so it basically came down to, well, the MacBook Air is okay if you do absolutely nothing other than light web browsing and word processing and stuff like that. But if you do anything on your laptop, you should just step up to the MacBook Pro. What's interesting is now, just 3 years later, things are kind of reversed. I would argue that the 13-inch MacBook Pro is utterly pointless, and that if you are buying the entry-level tier of Mac, you should absolutely pick the MacBook Air every single day of the week. That's been true since the M1 MacBook Air came out and completely turned the computing industry on its head. And it's weird to see that just 1 year prior, you couldn't even watch a YouTube video without this thing thermal throttling. It's crazy. Can you hear that? The fan's going. One Safari tab, one YouTube video playing in 1080p overwhelms the cooling system of this MacBook Air. I mean, I criticize the current generation MacBook Air for having a cooling system that doesn't take full advantage of the M2 chip, but This can't even take advantage of a dual-core U-series Core i5 that's less powerful than an iPhone 10. It's absolutely shocking that this was a $1,000 product. And it's actually very shocking that I paid $400 for it and it's broken. I got a terrible deal. You should not buy this laptop. I should not have bought this laptop. I'm basically stuck with it at this point. So yeah, there you go. Thank you guys for watching my miserable tale of woe. I need to get this thing out of my sight. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.